Good day, viewers. My name is Mr. Kevanu. Welcome to our second lesson for Life Science, Grade 9. Today's lesson will be the life cycle of malaria parasite, also known as Plasmodium. Our learning objectives: learners should be able to describe the life cycle of malaria parasite, outline the symptoms of malaria, the impact of malaria on one's health, and discuss ways of treating the disease. I'm sure everybody has heard of malaria. Malaria is a disease that affects millions of people worldwide every year. Now, in this lesson, we will learn more about the parasite that causes malaria. Do you know what a parasite is? Today we will look at the malaria parasite, more specifically at the life cycle of the malaria parasite and how malaria affects your health. A parasite is an organism that lives on or in a host organism and gets its food from or at the expense of its host. The mosquito is the carrier of a parasite called Plasmodium falciparum, the major cause of human malaria. This parasite needs both humans and mosquitoes in order for it to complete its life cycle. We'll begin by looking at the mosquito. Only mosquitoes of the genus Anopheles transmit malaria. Only the female Anopheles mosquito can carry and transmit the Plasmodium parasite. The presence of the Plasmodium parasite in the saliva of the female Anopheles mosquito causes an increase in the mosquito's drive to bite and feed on mammalian blood. These blood meals are required to nourish the mosquito eggs. We will use the following graphic in our explanation of the life cycle of the Plasmodium parasite. Take note, on the graphic we have a red colored side and the blue colored side. The red side shows what happens to the parasite inside the human, while the blue side shows what happens to the parasite inside the mosquito. Let us start at number 1. When the mosquito, also known as a vector, bites a human, Plasmodium sporozoites are injected into the bloodstream. Number 2, the sporozoites travel through the blood to the liver and infect the liver cells. Here, they replicate asexually by mitotic division and become merozoites. Number 3, the merozoites burst from the liver cells into the bloodstream, releasing thousands of merozoites into the bloodstream, where they invade the red blood cells. Once inside the red blood cells, the merozoites replicate again asexually mitotically, progressing through a set of stages: ring, trophozoite, and schizont. Number 5. The schizonts then rupture the infected red blood cells. This rupture releases thousands of new merozoites, a few gametocytes, and toxins into the bloodstream. The merozoites can infect new red blood cells and repeat the cycle in the same host or person. What are these gametocytes that I referred to earlier? Gametocytes are sex cells. The gametocytes that are released from the red blood cells are the male and female reproductive cells of Plasmodium. The gametocyte production is shown at numbers 4 and 5 on the graphic. These gametocytes need to be taken up by a new Anopheles mosquito to complete the life cycle. Let us go back to our graphic of life cycle of the Plasmodium parasite that causes malaria. Let us continue from number 6. At number 6, if a mosquito bites an infected person, it picks up gametocytes in the blood meal. A male and female gametocyte fuse, forming a zygote. This zygote will mature into a new sporozoite in the intestine of the mosquito before migrating to the salivary glands. These infectious sporozoites in the salivary glands are ready to infect a new human host. Remember, the graphic cycle shows what happens in the human and the mosquito, and that is why I said earlier that the Plasmodium needs both the human and the mosquito in order for the parasite to complete its life cycle. I hope you have learned a lot from the image and the explanation given. Remember, the first key point to remember is that the life cycle of Plasmodium parasite that causes malaria requires both a mosquito and human for completion. The second point to remember, which leads into the next section, is that all malaria symptoms are results of the parasite causing a massive rupture of red blood cells. So, do you know what the symptoms of malaria are? How does malaria impact one's health, and how can malaria be treated? The symptoms of malaria are fever, chills, sweats, headaches, nausea and vomiting, body aches. What is the impact of malaria on one's health? Malaria can cause a number of life-threatening complications. It can impact a person's life in the following ways. Cerebral malaria. Cerebral malaria may cause seizures and a coma. Breathing problems. Accumulated fluid in your lungs can make it difficult to breathe. Organ failure. Malaria can cause your kidneys or liver to fail or your spleen to rupture. Any of these conditions can be life-threatening. Anemia. Malaria damages red blood cells, which can result in anemia. Low blood sugar. Severe forms of malaria can cause low blood sugar. Very low blood sugar can result in coma or death. All the complications mentioned above are life-threatening and can impact one's health. The picture does not look good, right? But the good news is that malaria is fully treatable. Malaria is treated with anti-malaria drugs. The type of medication that is used to treat malaria depends on the severity of the disease and the likelihood of chloroquine resistance. Some of the drugs available to treat malaria include chloroquine, quinine, hydroxychloroquine, also known as plaquenil, atovaquone, proguanil, and mefloquine. Most Namibians know by now how to protect themselves against malaria. However, there might be a very small percentage of people who do not know how to protect themselves against it. And it's your duty as a Namibian citizen to inform them. So let us look at how malaria can be prevented. We can protect ourselves against malaria in the following ways. When walking outside, it is best to wear clothes that cover your arms and legs. Sleeping under a mosquito net will protect you against mosquito bites. There are many products available that will repel mosquitoes, and you can even make your own. If possible, all doors and windows should be covered with screens to prevent mosquitoes from entering the house. Standing water is the perfect breeding place for mosquitoes, so it should be removed. Insecticides can be used to kill mosquitoes. Let us summarize what we learned about the life cycle of the malaria parasite, also known as Plasmodium. Malaria is transmitted by the female Anopheles mosquito. The life cycle of the Plasmodium parasite that causes malaria requires both a mosquito and human for completion. All malaria symptoms are the results of the parasite causing a massive rupture of red blood cells. Malaria can be cured if treated with specific medicine. Malaria can be prevented by making a few adjustments to your life. Viewers, before I sign off, I would like to ask you a few questions to reflect on today's work and to test your understanding. 1. Explain what causes malaria. 2. Discuss the impact of malaria on a person's health. 3. Discuss 3 protection measures against malaria. That's all for today. Remember, it is our duty as Namibian citizens to inform others how to protect themselves against malaria. Until we meet again, see you soon.